Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide at 5 for another edition of Hopeful Fridays.
Yes.
My name is Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Donna P. Hope.
How are you?
I am lovely, and I'm glad to be here to share some of the information today. And we also had the KFC National Jamaica Day. Yes.
Were you out there?
No, I was not. Okay. But I was looking on at the excitement, and I expected it, yeah?
All right.
So it was exciting.
A special good afternoon to all the Pepsters. Congratulations to you all.
And the parents and teachers.
The parents who were relentlessly worrying, who were just anxious on pins and needles.
And the teachers who were
sweating.
working from dusk till dawn. Don't forget the teachers. They put in a lot of work.
Absolutely. Congratulations to you all.
Congratulations all.
Especially if you're going to a school of your choice. And if you didn't get a school of your choice, just know that you can go and do well where you have been placed. Just keep your head up and keep doing well.
Education does have value, so continue to focus on your education and maximize the benefits from it. That's what I tell all the young people. Go
Absolutely.
Right ahead. Yes.
So the results are out, and the percentage of primary school students who have mastered mathematics, that's doubled. This is based on the performance in this year's sitting of the Grade 6 Primary Exit Profile PEP, and that's compared to 2023. They were first assessed, of course, at the grade 4 level. The Ministry of Education presented the data at a press conference today. The Education Minister says between grade 4 and now, the percentage of students who achieved proficiency, that's moved from 27% to 56%.
34% of students were graded as developing. Those assessed as beginners in the final exam has dropped to 3%. The Education Minister says for language arts, the percentage of students considered proficient almost doubled to 67%. In the overall 2025 results, 2% of students were considered highly proficient in language arts, while 23% of them were graded as developing.
Students in the beginner category, that stood at 8%. In science, 61% were proficient, 9% highly proficient, 28% developing, and 2% were graded as beginners.
For social studies, 58% were proficient, 14% highly proficient, 2% developing, and 1% were graded as beginners. In the meantime, of course, our Education Minister, Senator Morris Dixon, says this year's grade 6 cohort has recorded higher scores in this year's sitting of the Primary Examination Profile, PEP. She noted that this year's cohort outperformed last year's in language arts and mathematics.
For mathematics, it was a 2% increase over last year. Percentage points, I should say. And for language arts, it was 3 percentage points over last year. So if you look at language arts, we're 69% this year. And so last year would have been at 66% of students being proficient and highly proficient. And for maths, we improved by 2 percentage points.
The minister also revealed that students performed similarly in social studies and science exams.
Last year, it's basically flat for social studies. 71.8% last year were proficient or highly proficient, and this year it's 71.6%. So pretty flat there. Again, fewer students were at the beginning level in social studies than compared to 2024, which is a good thing. You always want to look at who's at the bottom level. Are they improving? Are they getting better? And the numbers show that that's increasing. In terms of science, again, flat performance there, 69.8% in 2024, 69.97% at proficient and highly proficient in 2025. We're almost at that 70%.
That's Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, the Education Minister. Now, the Deputy Chief Education Officer in charge of exam and assessments, Maria Ho Young, was scheduled to join us. We're trying to reach you, Miss Ho Young. If anybody knows where we can find her, please let her know that she has an appointment here and we're waiting for her. Of course, she's in charge of exam and assessment administration services at the Ministry of Education. And it seems, based on what I'm hearing, Prof, that a lot of students and their parents are happy with the results.
A lot
so
of
far.
us listening on and looking at the percentages are also happy, Ricardo, because we have been using this primary exit exam, whatever we call it, common entrance. We have been using GSAT, all these names to help us assess where our students are before they enter the secondary level. And we have been having, I know, some dismal kind of results, especially for mathematics. So we are trying to ensure that that we get that kind of results that we want for our students, that will tell us that we are doing well for them. And I think seeing the percentages move up, especially as the minister says, the lower percentile, we have to pay more attention to that. And that's important for us here in Jamaica.
One of the things I was thinking about, how much the publishing of results, how much that's changed. Because,
yes.
and forgive me, Prof,
yes.
but in your time, when I say your time,
in my time, no,
they published it in the Gleaner, didn't they?
You don't want to live in that time. We nearly died of anxiety. The morning of my exam result, and I'm not telling you when, whatever, back in the distant past, I couldn't find my name in the newspapers.
So I was worried.
But I'm saying, I'm bright and I couldn't find my name in the newspapers, and we searched, and then somebody walking past my yard, I lived on the same road as Lindsay Dolly School, said, Donna Whoop, we see your name in the paper. I'm like, your name in there? And then it turned out I'd gotten a government scholarship, so my name was at a different place. But it was you're getting belly pains, you're getting stomach pains, your family in tears, but we were all published in the newspapers.
So the whole community,
the whole Linstead,
know how you performed.
Yes, and they were waiting. So when I couldn't find my name, they were like, but she's brilliant. But it was a horribly stressful time, and then you all went to school and celebrated. So I know people are celebrating, but that time it came in the newspapers, in the Gleaner, Jamaica Gleaner.
And we're doing some strolling down memory lane.
We're doing a poll.
Yeah.
Yes.
Prof Hope did Common
Entrance crew and the
Books
YouTubers.
Common Entrance.
Yes.
I did GSAT, and we think Dana did PEP.
Dana did PEP,
and
we'll ask the minister when she comes on.
Minister Morris Dixon is with us now, the Education Minister. Good afternoon, Minister.
Good afternoon,
Minister. How are you both?
We're doing
very well.
Doing well.
Minister, did you also have the experience of your name being published in the Gleaner?
I did. I did Common Entrance. Old.
No, Minister, you're not old. You're we're not using that word.
So
advanced.
Minister,
ahead.
Let me get your overall reaction to the results that were published today.
Well, I'm pleased, and I'm so proud of our students. They went through so much. As I noted earlier, this was a group that we were concerned about. They missed grade 1 and grade 2 face-to-face classes. And when they did their grade 4 PEP, it caused all sorts of alarms, especially in mathematics and language arts. And you've seen the schools work so hard with them. We were almost at 70% of the students being proficient in all the areas, which is great. I mean, there's work to be done.
Yes.
But where we were starting from in their grade 4 PEP, I'm very proud of them. And what I'm even more proud of is our primary schools. Our primary schools are performing so much better. There are more of them in the top 50 schools. Some of the top spots are going to our primary school children.
Yes.
It is really beautiful to see. And the other thing I'm happy to see were the number of schools that were in the top 10, that the top 10 students are going to. Usually it would just be 3 schools that the top 10 students would pick. But this year we have 6 different schools that the top 10 students in the country have chosen. And one of them is a technical high school. So there's shifts happening in the education
indeed,
system,
Minister,
and I'm very happy.
Indeed, Minister Morris Dixon. And in terms of the strategies, I know that a lot of strategies are employed through the Ministry of Education to ensure that the COVID cohort, which is what you're really talking about, got what they needed. Will some of these strategies continue? Are there plans to continue or to transform what has been made available so that we can continue to see these expanded and improved results from the PEP?
Yes, definitely. We are going to continue this work. It gives us a lot of impetus to continue on the path that we're on. I would have mentioned previously that we identified the underperforming primary schools and the underperforming high schools. and we're actively intervening in those schools now. So many of those schools have extended learning hours. They're going to school in the Christmas holiday, in the Easter holidays. We're doing a lot of work with them from the ministry side, and the schools are so supportive, and the teachers are doing such an excellent job. And we're seeing the results. And I think one of the things that I should note for you were some schools. When we looked at the data for the grade 4 test for these same children, there were some schools that we deemed critical, meaning that 75% of the students were at the beginning level or the developing level, not proficient. That's a big number, 75% of their students. And I'm so happy. There were 20 of them that we had in language arts, and there were about 40 of them in math. And we've been working with those schools. And you see mixed results there. But there were 6 schools in each of those subject areas that were critical. And when we looked at the PEP results last night, they had 100% of their children moving into proficiency.
That's good.
That's excellent. Congratulations.
That says it can be done. And it's an example for all schools, any school who feels that, the situation isn't in their favor. It can be done because these schools have done it. And these are not schools that, have a whole lot of extra resources. Many of them are rural schools.
Yes.
They're in poor communities, and they've been able to take these children to proficiency in 2 years.
Yes.
Which is amazing.
Yeah. Minister, these results are being published at a time when your opposition counterpart has been particularly critical of the government's track record in education. How do you square these results against his criticisms?
I think his criticisms are curious because I have seen his plans. And I always say this. Everybody in Jamaica wants to see our education system get better. And the reality is that we've done a lot of things to improve it. And the PEP results are showing that some of the work we've done is paying off, especially with our COVID group. There's more work to be done yet, but I think it is paying off. And I'm always very fascinated when I look at my counterparts of the opposition spokesperson's plans, and I keep saying, but that's exactly what we're doing in the ministry. And my ministry team feels very strongly. They're just saying what we're doing. And it is true, because we've already announced that come September, those schools that we call our NSLIP schools, which are the schools that aren't performing where we want them, all of them are going to be getting breakfast in addition to lunch that is provided for the PATH students. That's just across the board. We're going to be doing that for those schools. We're already doing big interventions in literacy, especially in the schools. And we're going to continue that and expand that. And I've already announced that for September. Reading, which had been taken off of the timetable, is going back in for all students, grade 1 to 3.
And Minister, let me, if I could just interrupt there, because a lot of people have been asking the question, and as far as I can tell, this happened in about 1999, thereabout. What was the reasoning behind removing it in the first place?
I think they were adding other things to the curriculum and emphasizing other areas. And so reading as a subject, especially where, you're able to read out loud, you have your books and you're just reading in class, that was not happening. And so it's not the best move, and we're seeing the results of that move. And that's why we put it back in. And this is another instance where the teachers and the schools are leading in terms of the transformation. Because I actually went to some schools that were having literacy issues, and they've been able to solve it. And guess what? Most of them told me they did. They timetabled reading. Even though the ministry had not mandated it, they were doing it. And I was seeing the results.
Yes.
And so we said we're going to do it, because if these schools can see results from doing that simple change, we're going to mandate it. And so we've been printing books. We used AI to make it a little cheaper.
Yes.
To develop the story. So the pictures look a little strange, but we have books that we're printing, because what we want is for each child to have a stack of books, so that they can do their reading in the time that is allotted. And so that's what we're spending a lot of time printing. Next week, we're doing training with the teachers to emphasize the areas of reading that we would like emphasized, and also to help them with the challenges that they're having. That's happening for our teachers across the country beginning next week. So we're not just sitting here, dreaming of a better education system. We're actively doing it. So the nutrition piece we're doing, the literacy piece we're doing, and then another impediment. We know rural children, sometimes they don't come to school on a Friday or on a Thursday because the money run out. It's expensive for transportation, and we are fixing that with the 100 buses for the rural school bus system, which will be a start to transform that area too, so that our students don't have any impediment to coming to school anymore.
Indeed,
Minister, I know you would be seized of the fact that for many Jamaicans, they want to see the improvements happen faster.
Yes.
And obviously you right. I was about to say you're a member of the transformation committee, so you're seized of the need for speeding that up. How are you going to ensure that from a policy perspective that all the arms of the education sector work in tandem to ensure that we can get bigger improvements in terms of these subjects and across PEP?
All right. So there are many things that we're doing. The first one is obviously in terms of the training of our teachers. And our teachers have been very receptive to this because all our teachers want to see their children do well. No teacher wants to see PEP results come out and their students did not thrive. And so they are anxious too. And so we're providing the support that they need. We're also ramping up having specialist teachers in the schools. So in some schools that you go to now, you will see a separate teacher for maths and science versus for language arts and social studies, because we have to separate it. Sometimes one teacher can't teach everything effectively.
Yes.
So we've been rolling that out a lot more. And we think that with the literacy interventions that we're also doing and the reading that we're doing, that we will see those numbers go up. And I look forward to a day when the results are so good that it's really a challenge getting into schools. But the goal ultimately is to improve all of the high schools so that more of them can be seen as schools of choice. And we're seeing that happen now. There's more work we have to do with that, and some of the schools have to do a little bit more branding, and I'll help them with that, because some schools that are non-traditional schools are doing really good things. And their results at CSEC are amazing, and the work that their children do after is phenomenal. And Jamaica doesn't know. And so we're going to have to do a better job of selling these schools to Jamaica, because you don't have to go to one of those name brand schools in order to succeed in this world. And so there's much more work for us to do. I'm up to the task, and I know the ministry team is excited, and we're just going to keep working, because our children deserve us to work hard to have them realize the dreams that they have.
Yeah. Indeed, Minister Morris Dixon. We are out of time, I think, so we have to continue.
Yes.
But kudos to you and the team of the ministry, and of course to all the teachers across Jamaica we had the parents as well, and just continue the good work, because at the end of it, education becomes a major foundation for the society we are trying to build.
And if I could just, on a point of personal privilege, give a special congratulations to the students at Mountain View Primary.
Oh, God.
I am a proud board member. So congratulations to them.
To you too.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye-bye.